from the many faces of Zionism to our amazing program lined up for today. We're going to start with Alon Wald. We're going to be speaking about ammunition hell. I'm going to introduce Alon in just a second, but really just to take a moment and think through what this upcoming month is going to look like, both with Yom Yerushalayim approaching and with it being JNF Women's for Israel Month, and really thinking through that process of how we can bring this to our classrooms as we wrap up the school year. So Alon, do you want me to share the video now? Do you want me to do your introduction? What would be best for you?
I'll start with some sort of introduction, and then I'll give you the cue.
Okay, fantastic.
So shall I start?
Oh, I want to introduce you first.
Okay.
So Alon Wald is the head of operations at Ammunition Hill, a national heritage center in Israel. He is the son of Captain Rami Wald, Zichrono Livracha, who fought in the 55th Paratroopers Brigade in Jerusalem during the Six-Day War and was killed in action while leading the paratroopers into Ammunition Hill. Alon served his country as an officer in elite IDF units, the Israeli Secret Service, and oversaw security operations in Israeli embassies and aviation services around the world. He is now married to Iris and has 3 amazing daughters, and we are honored to have him here today with us.
Okay, so thanks for having me. It is indeed quite a challenge to share Jerusalem, to share my story, the story of my family, and the story of the liberation of Jerusalem, so many thousand miles away. It's not my comfort zone. Usually I'm talking to people when I have a maze of 300 meters of trenches and 40 bunkers underneath my feet. Normally I'm doing it in Hebrew, but I think it is important using the Zoom, using the new media to share with you guys the notion that we are one people, one nation. The story that I'm going to share with you, to reveal to you in the following 20 minutes, is the story of the Jewish people. And I try to do my best, and I'm more than glad to be able to give you some tools to share with the future generation of my people. So without further ado, I'm going to upload a presentation. Let me see. Can you all see it? Okay, yes. I'm talking about Ammunition Hill. Ammunition Hill, maybe one or two, some of you visited Ammunition Hill before. I'm going to talk about, let me see if I can pass just a minute. Okay, can you see it? How to shrink a story of the Six-Day War to 2-3 minutes to connect all the links for you guys. 55 years ago, there was a war, lasted 6 days. If you not realize it, we are this only nation that within 6 days collided against 4 Arab armies and came out victorious against all odds. Israel used to be a very narrow country. Gaza envelope, you can see it, and from the other side, the Gaza Strip, and the other side, you can see Judea and Samaria. Israel nation rose from the ashes of the Holocaust, created a nation, and in 1967, the Arabs decided that they are going to take Israel, Palestine back. They're going to throw us to the sea. And President Nasser, the mighty president of the Egyptian nation, leading all the Arab armies, decided that this is the time. And he gave a limited time for the Jewish people to flee from Israel, from Palestine. And all over the available media at that time, mainly black and white television, some radio, there was a scream, constant scream over the radio: Jews, flee from Palestine. If not, we are going to throw you to the sea. We're going to finish whatever Hitler could not have achieved. And it felt like a second Holocaust is going to fall on our heads. My grandmother told me that they were actually digging trenches in front of their homes. It felt like annihilation is on the edge. We're going to be annihilated. The Israel nation decided they're not going to wait to be butchered, and they launched a preemptive strike. And our aviators, our airplanes, flew to the heart of Sinai and then to Egypt, and within half an hour, demolished all of the Egyptian airplanes on the ground. It was a very brave decision, and within 2.5 hours, we were preoccupied all over the fronts of Israel with a war, a full-scale war. Within 6 days only, it was a wrap. We finished it. And you can see here on the map that the east front, Jordanian front, was actually Jerusalem, mainly Jerusalem, And when the war started, nobody wanted to liberate Jerusalem or to release Jerusalem or to get back to the Holy Mountain and to the Jewish quarters. They only wanted to protect the Jewish civilians of the Israeli side of Jerusalem. You see on the right side of the map that Jerusalem was actually divided from 1948 to two cities. When the independence war ended, nobody could decide who took over Jerusalem. So two generals opened a map over the hood of a car and decided to chop Jerusalem to two cities, 8.5 kilometers, divided Jerusalem for 19 years to two cities. And it could have been helped. The old city of Jerusalem, the Kotel, the Temple Mount, the Jewish quarters would remain on the right side. On the north side of the map, you can see a mark, a red mark, which is Ammunition Hill. And Ammunition Hill was a stronghold that for 19 years, the Jordanians kept there the best of the best from their legionnaires, the El Hussein Arab tribe, the Bedouins. They were more afraid than King Hussein than they were afraid of death, but they were very well trained. And they overlooked on the north side of Jerusalem. 300 meters from this stronghold, there was the Israeli side of Jerusalem. They held their snipers, intelligence officers. And the beginning point of my life and the life of Ammunition Hill was the 6-day war when the paratroopers actually stormed into this ridge that starts at Ammunition Hill, Givat HaMivtar, French Hill, and Mount Scopus. They only wanted to block the Jordanians from entering the Israeli side of Jerusalem, killing the inhabitants, and then rushing west toward Jaffa, cutting Israel to two. This is the beginning of the story. This is the resolution I'm going to start with, because eventually I'm going to I'm going to reach to the trenches. And I'm going to show you now a clip that was made in the heart of the Zoom, I think 2 years ago, when we wanted to celebrate the liberation of Jerusalem, but nobody came to Ammunition Hill, nobody came to Israel because of the COVID-19. So we created a clip. You will see the clip, and then afterwards, I will elaborate a little bit further and deep down into the most intimate resolution of my life and my connection to Ammunition Hill. So if you can upload it, just a minute.
And I'm going to share the screen now.
Hello to everybody. My name is Alon Wald. I'm speaking to you from the top of Ammunition Hill that lies 1,000 meters from the old city of Jerusalem to the north in Jerusalem in Israel. Thanks to the Corona ordeal, this is the best way I can bring Jerusalem to your best understanding, your hearts, to make a bond, to make a link, to make you understand what happened in Jerusalem about 53 years ago. We are going to celebrate the reunification of Jerusalem in a very peculiar, weird, different way this year because of the Corona. And we'll try to do it thanks to the Zoom and the internet in the most vivid and interesting way. Ammunition Hill. It commemorates one of the toughest, most difficult battles the paratroopers of the IDF ever conducted the past 72 years of our existence. And you need to understand that the story I'm going to reveal to you that will start with a broader perspective and it will result eventually at the story of my family, of my own dear father who fell here 53 years ago, is really a very, very interesting story. And today, I'm not going to talk to you about sacrifice and about death and about the battlefield whereabout of Ammunition Hill. I'm going to talk to you about values, about the widest common denominator that we share from the both sides of the globe. 53 years ago, something happened, a 6-day war. It is a very famous war and we keep on talking about it. You need to understand that we are talking about something that not even one nation in the modern era could achieve. Within 6 days, Israel nation collided against 4 Arab armies and against all odds came out victorious. In this hill, the paratroopers made the pivotal battle that led the entire nation to reunite with the Holy Mountain, with the Western Wall, with the Jewish quarters. And I'm going to share some of the stories with you. When you come to Israel, you can see the IDF soldiers all over the streets of Israel wearing uniforms. They are indeed one of the best armies in the world, but they are not enough to collide against 4 Arab armies. Whenever a full-scale war falls on our heads, we need to summon the reservists. 80% of the fighting units are the reservists. Who are they? Carpenters, grocery shop owners, lecturers, fresh grooms, rabbis, students who have to make time and again when the army needs them, when the nation needs them, this shifting their mind. When this knock on the door is coming, we need you for the greater good. These guys have to go and leave their families, their careers, their wives, their newborn sons. One of them was my father, Captain Rami Wald, the late Captain Rami Wald. He was a carpenter. He was 32 years old. And I'm going to talk to you today about a lifetime of me trying to understand the minute my father had to leave me. I asked myself, where did he bring all these values? Camaraderie, commitment to a mission, loyalty, creativity, brotherhood. Does it come with the ranks? Does it come with the uniforms? Until today, we have here 300 meters of trenches and 40 bunkers, well preserved, intact, exactly as they were 53 years ago, when 120 paratroopers stormed to this hill against 120 Jordanian soldiers from the elite commander units of King Hussein. Israel nation was now facing three fronts: Golan Heights against the Syrians, Sinai Peninsula against the Egyptians, and the long border against the Jordanians, when the peak of the efforts was Jerusalem. The paratroopers had no intelligence, no maps. They did not know that the people that are waiting for them are that experienced. They knew these trenches like the palm of their hands. Nevertheless, 4.5 hours, 5th of June 1967, they came out victorious against all odds. You guys, this is my childhood playground. I was running here in the trenches at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8 without understanding. What does the notion of the words like war, Jerusalem, Zionism, death, the notion of the word father? I lost my own dear father over here. I did not know my father. I was 10 months when he had to leave me and my mother. Any war, any big war, any triumph eventually is being achieved by the person, by the human being. And I can tell you that the liberators of Jerusalem we are going to relate to today were not gods upon earth. They were afraid, they made mistakes. They implemented amazing values that we stand for today. The best way to commemorate their deeds is to talk about camaraderie and bravery and leadership of human beings, not of soldiers, because we are a Jewish nation. We worship life and peace and not death and sacrifice. And this is the way we mediate the story today here. I can tell you for hours life and how it is important this conversation before the liberation of Jerusalem that we are going to celebrate in a very short while. The importance is to understand the heart of our nation, and this is going to be my focus today. And now I'm going to try to connect the dots, and I'm going to do it through the underground layer of Ammunition Hill. Underneath the trenches and the bunkers, we have the underground bunker of the Jordanians. Now, thanks to the JNF efforts, we have a very beautiful, impressive, state-of-the-art modern museum that will help me to tell you the story in the most vivid and creative way. If you are interested, please follow me. Some people say this is the safest place in Jerusalem. We are isolated completely from what's happening outside. And it helps us to bring the visitors to the most intimate resolution to understand what happened in Jerusalem 53 years ago. We are using animations and movies and clips. We are using music. This is by no means replacing the option for you to come in the future to understand what we are doing here. But to make a long journey of 400 meters and 53 years short, we should focus today on one story that starts the museum and ends the museum. The friends of my father, his comrades in arms, 2.5 days after the war started, reached the Kotel, the Holy Mountain, and the Jewish quarters. And one of the captains carried a flag in his rear pouch. The flag was given to him by a grandmother. She said to him, "If you will reach the Holy Mountain and the Kotel, please, this is the flag I preserved all these years for you. Please take it with you." We are now at more or less at the end of the museum. It was a short version, and nothing, as I told you, can replace of actual being here. But we started with the flag. 3 brigades collided against Jerusalem, city and outskirts. And 2 days after my father was already killed, they reached the Kotel. And this soldier we met at the beginning took the pouch, from his rear pouch, the flag, and along with 7 of his friends, created something we should relate to and never forget. They hanged the flag over the Kotel in a reunited Jerusalem. And when he heard that we are building this museum, he came to us and he told us, this is the flag. This is the flag I preserved for so many years. This is the flag this old grandmother gave me when we started the war. It will be dead with me. Please, I'm 80 years old nowadays. Take the flag and put it in a safe position when people will be able to see the Israeli flag, the widest common denominator, symbol of our nation, is here with the handwriting of this guy, Yoram Zamush, who wrote with his own pen, "We are the paratroopers. The liberators of Jerusalem are now hanging the flag of the Kotel." This is history, and we carry on the journey. This Jerusalem garden is actually Harry Trigobov garden, and this is a tribute of JNF Australia to the ongoing efforts. Please have a look. As you surely understand, Ammunition Hill is no longer only trenches and bunkers. It's not only a story of death and sacrifice and battlefield whereabout. It is something much wider. Here you can see one of the latest built memorial halls in Israel on the national level. This is once again the sum up of all the questions I, myself, and my brothers and sisters forever, the orphans of Ammunition Hill and the 6-Day War, raised all our lives. Who were they? Who was my father as a human being? 3 years of gathering artifacts, memories, stories from the families themselves. What you see here are the choosing of the families. Here we relate to the way these guys lived and not to the way they died and fell. We wanted to know and to reveal from the families who were they, where did they come from, how did they live, and what is the full extent of their legacy.
Alon, just to unmute.
As I said, I'm 55 years old guy now, but my first recollection, my first memory, at the age of 5 and 6, indeed was running in the trenches, trying to understand my position. Who am I? My father was gone, but he left me one heck of a story on my shoulders. He was the liberator of Jerusalem. Twice a year, Memorial Day, Jerusalem Day, the principal, the teachers used to point at me. Alon's father was brave. He was the liberator of Jerusalem. He fell. Everybody looked at me, and I was angry because everything I remember is that every other time came another father of one of my friends bragging about his career, talking about his career. The kids were admiring him. Every, Lag BaOmer, some father came to light the Medulla. I had no father. I wanted answers. Why did he leave me? I learned to understand, indeed, that the paratroopers was a volunteering unit. I learned to understand that he was a reservist. Why did he leave me and my mother? The questions, the naive, egoistic questions of a young lad, a young boy who became a young lad and then a soldier, are the questions that we need to ask as a Jewish people. We worship, as I said in the clip, peace and life. We do not breed our youngsters to become martyrs. And what we unveiled, me and my brothers and sisters, about our fathers is being indeed shared today with the visitors of Ammunition Hill, because it has to be the whole story. I know exactly how my father fell. I know exactly where did he fell. Time and every morning when I'm reaching Ammunition Hill, turning right to the management courtyard, I see the place where he fell. Today it's a modern area, but I know exactly, but I wanted to understand, and this is what I'm trying to share with you, what led him to become so brave. And same as all the other visitors that come to Ammunition Hill, same as yourselves, something is already embedded in your guts, in your memories, that has to make a difference. Same as you guys, my father came to war being a father, a family member, a husband, a youth movement graduate, a Jewish and Israeli. All these things do matter. And gradually, when I grew up on the laps of these idol figures that became my fathers, I learned to understand that Ammunition Hill really is an educational asset that needs to be implemented, needs to be used. And when I started my life, I lost a father, but the friends of my father, the paratroopers, realized that there is an epic triumph and everybody's celebrating in front of the Kotel, but 182 bereaved families are left behind. Nobody's dealing with them now. For the first 2, 3, 4 days after the war ended, there were parades in front of the Kotel, celebrations all over the world. Jewry people were marveling the reunification of Jerusalem. But 182 bereaved families were left behind. Nobody's dealing with families who are in a state of shock. And I'm talking about families. I'm talking about the paratroopers who lost almost 100 of these 182 people. They knew each other from the 56 war, from the 62 and the 63 campaigns, from the kibbutzes, from the fields. The wives know each other, the parents know each other, and within 2.5 days, only in Jerusalem, bang, 100 of their friends are gone, and nobody's dealing with them because everybody's in front of the Kotel. And the paratroopers are being admired, the liberators of Jerusalem, the Red Berets. What started my life was a decision they made. I think it was a day after the second parade in front of the Kotel. There was a meeting held in the house of Dr. King, the admired doctor of the brigade, when the adult people, the high-ranking officers met in his home, making a decision. We are not waiting for anybody. We need to pay homage to the families. We need to protect them because they need us. And they made a decision, dividing the families, and the day afterwards, there was a knock on the door of my mother and father home. My mother opened the door, and 10 salt of the earth amazing paratroopers were there. Now there were civilians once again. Nobody sent them. And they stepped inside looking for me. I was a 10-month baby. I was out of the equation. I do not remember anything. They pointed at me and saying to my mother, who was in a state of shock, she lost the love of her life, maybe Alon, she lost a father. Here, 10 alternative uncles, brothers. It doesn't matter the title. He will never step alone anymore. What started my life was a vow that resonated in dozens and dozens of other apartments all over Israel. They came to the edges, to the borders, to the Galilee, to the Negev, to Jerusalem, to the old city, to the new cities, saying to the families, we are here for you. And while doing so, they gave me something amazing to share with you guys today, because they implemented the same core values that led them to be victorious against all odds as soldiers. They implemented all these values now being civilians: camaraderie, bravery, leadership, commitment to a mission, to your nation, to your friends. Do not belong to wartime only, do not belong to the trenches of Ammunition Hill, and do not belong to the Israelis. They belong to you guys. They belong to me, to civilians. They came as civilians, making a vow that held water until today. My generation, the orphans of Ammunition Hill, of the liberation of Jerusalem, grew up on the laps of amazing idol figures who never asked anything in return. These were the guys who led me to my bar mitzvah, to the wedding night, to the army. These were the guys who came time and again when my wife gave birth to the first daughter, to the second, to the third, replacing my late father. And these values are mine to share and to you to share, and to understand that you can be brave. Your students can be brave tomorrow morning without waiting for wartime, without risking your lives. And this is what we do at Ammunition here today. We are telling the stories, but we are bringing down from the sky our fathers, showing them as human beings, inspiring people. This is part of the success of Ammunition Hill. And we triple the amount of visitors at Ammunition Hill. People come from all over Israel, from all over the world, to understand how we chose to talk about our fathers, not idolizing them, but talking to them about their deeds, as of human beings. And I'm so proud to break my teeth in my English talking to you guys. You should convey the message that indeed we are one people, one nation, connected by core values of brotherhood and leadership. And these stories should inspire your kids. You can fight anti-Semitism. You can urge them to be useful members of their communities. It doesn't matter. This story belongs to you guys. And please, I urge you, first opportunity, come to Israel, come to Jerusalem, come to Ammunition Hill, and see from first sight, be able to understand what I'm talking about. So, Lashana Haba, maybe this year in Jerusalem, let's all celebrate our Jerusalem, the world Jerusalem. We're so proud to be able to host you. And let's all pray for peace. That is for now. If you have any questions.
Amazing. I mean, Alon, I've heard your story so many times, and every time there's a new depth, a new element, a new something that brings me to tears. So really just kol hakavod. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your amazing story, especially as we lead into Yom Yerushalayim. It's now my honor and my privilege to introduce Noah. Noah is from Olam Shalem. Olam Shalem was established with the purpose of strengthening the connection between Jewish children worldwide and Jerusalem. Olam Shalem, from the words meaning Olam, meaning world, and Shalem, which literally means complete, which is also one of the names of Jerusalem. This name reflects their primary focus, the connection between Jerusalem and the world. The Olam Shalem website is a web-based platform for teaching and learning. They provide lesson plans for elementary schools and classes that are used by teachers all over the diaspora and that are available on their website, and we'll be happy to share immediately after the programming and the follow-up. So Noah, it is my honor to turn it over to you. Thank you for joining us, especially so late.
Thank you so much. Can I share my screen? Okay, let's see. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hi, my name is Noah. I'm the European coordinator of teachers, and I'm working for Olam Shalem. So basically, how you already said in the introduction, our primary goal is to connect children from all over the world to Jerusalem. We found that Jews from all over the world can be very different if they're liberal, Orthodox, secular, Zionist or non-Zionist. But we found that Jerusalem really is the one point where all Jews can connect in their own way. So we do this by really building lesson plans for elementary school students. And we build lesson plans for also holidays, but also other fun activities for school that just connect to Jerusalem. Okay, and this is our website, how you can see, and it's a free website. Every teacher can sign up to it and find all the lesson plans there. And we have a lot of lesson plans that are very interesting and really just connect everyone to Jerusalem. So all that is left for all the teachers that are watching this is to sign up. It's really amazing. Okay, so I wanted to show you our lesson plan that we did for Yom Yerushalayim, for Jerusalem Day, and it's called The Diary from the Old City. And we chose to teach a lesson about a boy whose name is Manny, who wrote a diary which describes his life before the 6-Day War. And what we found is that a lot of children and even adults, they think that the story of Jerusalem started by when the country was like rose from the independence that Israel got, but it's not true. There was a whole life even like before the 6-Day War and a lot of generations that lived there, and we really wanted to show the life they had there while Jerusalem had the rule over also the Jewish quarters. And we wanted to show like the backstory of how the life there was, to show why we even celebrate Yom Yerushalayim. Okay. What you can see is the website, and with all of the materials that you need for teaching this lesson. It consists of podcasts, diary pages, and the diaries that you will prepare for your students, and even the diary folding instructions. Okay, so this is how the diary looks like from all of the sides. Okay. I will explain to you how the lesson is planned from the teacher's point of view. So we will be sticking to many for the whole lesson. We will first show, like, hand out the diaries, and then we will show a video of two children that live in Jerusalem that suddenly find the diary of Manny and start to explore the city. So first of all, we will show the video, and afterwards, after the video, the students will have to fill out the first assignment. After that, they will hear the second podcast, fill out the assignment again, and hear the third podcast and also fill out the assignment. And it's very, very nice because on each page, when the children will get home, they will be able to hear the podcast with the QR codes that you can see on each page. So it is also very interactive because when they get home and they can like explain to their parents what they learned in school, they can also hear it again with their parents. So what you can see here on these pictures are some lessons that we did with children from all over the world, really. And you can see that activities are very interactive with videos and podcasts, which keeps it really interesting. And on our website, we have also something that is called JLM for all. And we even have activities with escape room and right, next page, second. Right. And what I wanted to show you that my froze is that
Noah, there are some noises from your mic, so please pay attention for it, okay? Okay.
1 second. This is weird. Can you hear me?
Oh, you hear you well, but a lot of back noise.
Back
Okay.
noise.
Now good.
My computer is a little bit loud suddenly, you know. Okay. Is it still loud? It's okay. Okay, I wanted to show you. Okay, the next page, it doesn't work. Okay, I can explain it. So the diaries that we that I showed you, they have there's a special thing about them. Not the diaries that we printed out, the diary that Manny wrote in the story, and it's handwritten by a very impressive person that is called Galila Ron Feder Amit, which is a really famous author, and she's getting the Worthy Citizen of Jerusalem, which is a prize like given out to people that really influenced like Jerusalem. And it's very special that she wrote a diary, and we will we made a video of telling her story that we will also we will publish on Sunday. We will have like a teacher's like seminar for also for Yom Yerushalayim, and we will show it to you there. So this is also a chance for me to invite you to Yom Yerushalayim, to the seminar, which I wanted to show you, but maybe like they will send it out, and we will show you a lot more lessons that we have, and also the really special video. And yes, that's it for now. So thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thank you, Noah, so much. And we will include all of those amazing resources in the email that we sent out to all of the educators. I just wanted to, again, thank Noah and Alon for staying up so late, or Alon for waking up late, but Noah for staying up so late. I think it's like 2:30, 2:40 in the morning for you. So a big thank you for that. A big thank you to Zohar, for everyone who joined today. I know this will enhance all of our educational opportunities this year for Yom Yerushalayim. And wishing everyone an early Chag Sameach. And again, just a big thank you for everyone. Have a great evening, and we will see you in the fall when we start these series back up again. Thank you all so much. Again, thank you to Noah. We'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julia.
Bye.